All right, good morning, everyone. We will begin our August 12th admin meeting. And let's begin with roll call, Violet.
Sure. Here in person, we have myself, Violet Plummer, Mel Fisher, and Anna Conley, as well as Commissioners Strohmeyer, Slotnick, and Vero. And calling in over teams, we have Jamar Galbraith, Kyla Leonard, Shane Stack, Ann Hughes, Kelly McGuire, Jason Emery, Chris Lounsbury, Emmy Bristow, and Allison Franz. Did I miss anybody? Okay.
Okay, does anyone have any comment on anything not on today's agenda?
How was the fair last night?
The fair was excellent. Yes, I ran into our very own Deputy County Attorney Anna Conley at the fair. It was delightful. It's the I think the best fair ever.
What'd you do?
Oh,
Just walk around and
We-
check all the exhibits?
we
Extreme bull riding?
we had
Extreme bull riding.
it was extremely well attended. It appeared to be.
Nice. Oh, great.
So Anna said it was positive, a communal, happy vibe. Yeah, absolutely. And what I did notice also, I ran into Emily Brock at the fair, and I was wondering about this. There are no food concessions in the carnival. I don't know all the backstory there, which actually look lovely in that you got that element out of the carnival. But what that means is everyone is now eating at our local vendors, which is great.
Commercial kitchen spaces.
New commercial kitchen spaces, lots of opportunities for standalone food vendors out there. So
So not only in concessions, but there's food trucks.
there's food trucks. Yeah, there's utilities for food trucks out there. It's good. No dust. Great music.
Oh, fantastic. Wow.
Commercial building, home arts, everything looks just fantastic. So
My household's going to the rodeo tonight.
excellent. So yeah, go to the fair if folks have not already been out there and spend some money.
Have a
I
good time.
guess the only other announcement I would make is, and I mentioned this to Juanita yesterday, got a message from Custer County. They are going to have a public hearing next week on joining the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority.
How
So
close are we to a solid block?
we are getting there. Yeah, if we can add Custer County, it sounds like there is the full court press going on as we speak out in Mineral County. So that's a real possibility. And Bighorn has expressed some interest also. So
Fantastic.
we roll along.
Fun, Dave. Really great.
Yeah, good news today.
Yeah, and infrastructure bill.
Infrastructure bill, 12 billion in that for intercity passenger rail, of which 20% has to go to long distance routes, of which our route is
I know,
exactly that.
the stars aligning. Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can bring in some bad news in this agenda. I don't know. We'll
Dave,
see.
Chris does have his hand up in.
No.
Oh, Chris,
Uh-oh.
Bad news.
what do you have for us?
Not bad news, the commissioners. Just on the subject of the rail or of the fairgrounds. Last night, also the Fairgrounds Foundation was presented with a check for, if I'm correct, $150,000 from one of our local businesses, which was just another super positive
Nice.
Business. in it?
event.
Oh,
I'm sorry, John.
Stockman's Bank, apparently.
That is correct.
Nice. Well,
Well,
you,
thank-
Stockman's Bank.
Thank you, Stockman's Bank.
Stockman.
Stockman Bank,
I'm embarrassed. I should know.
plural, singular.
Worker Bank.
Okay, we'll get to the bottom of that one. But anyway, a bank gave a significant sum and it begins with stock. So, okay, anything else? Moving right along, our first agenda item is Kelly McGuire out there?
See a KM on there.
Okay, Kelly, what do you have for us? You have several things for us, actually.
Yeah, would you like me to bundle these two or talk about them separately?
Let's bundle them. I'm all about that.
We can do that. Okay. So the first one is a grant from the Montana Board of Crime Control. This is federal pass-through money from the Victims of Crime Act, and this is funding that we've relied on for a really long time. There's a little bit of I think I made a typo in the agenda because I included the match money and the award amount, so that $315,000 that you see is actually reduced by that $78,000 number. So the award is smaller than that, and that was my mistake. And I'm just pointing that out because this grant is much smaller this year, which is why you've seen an increased budget request from us for staff this year. And that funds, normally it would have funded 5 staff. This year, or the next 2 years of the grant, it'll fund 2 staff in the Crime Victim Advocate Program. The second item on the agenda is an interagency agreement with the Montana Office of the Court Administrator and the Montana 4th Judicial District. This is an agreement that we've already had in effect, and it's to continue a pilot of a pretrial program using the public safety assessment. So that comes with $140,000, and that pays for the public safety assessment coordinator and a pretrial supervision officer at Montana Correctional Services. So I'd be happy to take questions about those two.
Any questions? Comments?
We should fund them.
Yeah.
Okay, how about a motion? I
Oh,
guess you can just move items 1 and 2 if you
Yeah.
want, with the amended language in the RCA per what Kelly just said.
I will make that motion.
Okay.
I move to authorize, items 1 and 2 with the amended motion.
I'll-
With the amended award amount.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
John would say public comment.
Or if anyone wants to comment on it and not just merely discuss it. Okay,
Yeah.
seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Hey, Kelly, for the greater world out there, could you describe a bit about this, the pilot pretrial program?
Yeah, I can a little bit, Josh, but you might actually have more information than I do because this part of our work is very new to me. But the public safety assessment, to my understanding, is a tool, it's a national tool that is used pre-trial to assess risk of defendants regarding their failure to appear and the public safety risk. And so the intended purpose of the tool is to make sure that bail decisions, bond decisions are more fair. There is, however, some walking back of that from folks like the Pretrial Justice Institute because of bias kind of baked into tools like that. And so that public safety assessment is something that I think around the state folks are looking to see if it can be validated and improved so that it is a more fair tool. But currently judges, it's something they can look at, but they don't have to follow the guidance of the risk assessment. For example, if a defendant is scored at a 1, they're a very low risk, then that would tell the judge, okay, I can release this person on their own recognizance. And if it's a higher score, maybe perhaps they put a bond on that person. But right now, judges can override whatever that score is. And so it's sort of a tool in progress. And I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Josh.
Oh, you did a great job describing it. That was perfect. And that it's a pilot, that we're doing this. I think Lewis and Clark County are just doing it. I don't know if there are other counties, but it's just a few of them. And we're gathering data and checking in with judges and seeing how people like this and hopefully learning from it and hopefully getting to a point where we make more thoughtful decisions about who is held and who is not. Held pre-trial and who is not. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Shane Stack. Build.
Good morning, commissioners.
Amen.
Maybe I'll share my screen. We talked about this agreement with MDT earlier this week with the Public Works update, but kind of give you a quick reminder of what's going on. So with Build, we have to have connections to a couple of MDT facilities. One is Mullen Road, the other one is West Broadway. So the intersection of George Elmer, which is up on the screen, hopefully you can see that. The intersection of George Elmer and Mullen Road, for instance, This agreement that we have with MDT simply allows the county to go out and make improvements on MDT's facility. It also spells out who will, or which agency will maintain what features of those improvements. So I've got the George Elmer Mullen Road intersection up for an example. This list here basically shows the RRFBs, are the rapid rectangular flashing beacons on these crosswalks. There's going to be 2 of those. The city and county are responsible to maintain those, but if you look at the language, it's actually the city that's going to be on the hook to maintain those. The county will be responsible to maintain this frontage road, and that comes off of Murray Drive and provides access to these homes just the south of the roundabout. Essentially, the county's long-term maintenance is really limited to this frontage road, and if the city does ever annex these properties in, then the responsibility of maintenance will go to the city to maintain that frontage road. So I don't know if you have any questions regarding the agreement.
Any questions? Any comment, public comment?
My understanding is there's not a lot of leeway here. It's kind of a take it or leave it thing, but it also is not a bad agreement. Is that correct?
I think, yeah, Josh, I mean, it just clearly spells out, which agency maintains what. Yeah, I think it's, for the most part, I think it's fair. And you're 100% right. We have no control really over whether or not MDT is going to allow us to do this. So we kind of have to, and they were certainly fair with negotiations. This agreement's been in the works for probably a year now or more. So there's been a lot of back and forth. And so they were certainly willing to work with us to try to do what's the most fair. So
Shane, I remember some conversations about swapping out roundabouts for traditional signals in order to save money. And could you just say why did this roundabout was this roundabout preserved, but the intersection with Broadway we went to the traditional signals? Why one rather than the other?
Well, there's roundabouts both at George Elmer and Mullen Road, as well as Mary Jane and Mullen Road. The difference between George Elmer and Mullen and Mary Jane and Mullen is that the city actually owns and maintains the intersection of Mullen Road and Mary Jane. So it's not an MDT facility. So that didn't get included into this agreement. So there are 2 roundabouts. There's just 1 roundabout included in this agreement. We did include roundabouts at those 2 intersections. Kittleson, who was one of the consultants that provided the traffic engineering studies for this project, went through a thorough investigation of what should the intersection improvements and treatments be at all the intersections. The recommendation for these 2 intersections on Mullen Road was based primarily on a couple factors. Got the safety benefit of the roundabout. It forces people to slow down to 15 miles an hour or slower. And with signalized intersections, you run the risk of folks running red lights and having high-speed impacts and severe injury crashes or even fatal crashes. And so what roundabouts do are they lower the severity of the crashes. So there's a first component. Second component is off-peak hours. The roundabouts operate significantly better than roundabouts. And I'm sure you've probably been driving in your car and drove up to a signal and there's no traffic on the street you're waiting for, yet you sit there and wait.
Yeah.
And so roundabouts, what they are nice for are, there's less delay in those off-peak hours. And then the third reason, when you look at the capacity of the roundabout at all these intersections versus the signalized intersections, the roundabout has similar capacity abilities as a signalized intersection would. So this roundabout and the roundabout at Mary Jane and Mullen Road were designed so that they can be expanded in the future. So if Mullen Road ever does become a 4-lane, this can be easily widened out to accommodate a 4-lane facility or a 2-lane roundabout.
But I guess Shane, that begs the question, why roundabouts here and not on Broadway?
That's the-
Because the same principle would apply.
Yep, no, and that's where I was getting to next.
Oh, okay.
Was Broadway is signalized and why? And I think that's a good question is, so the challenge became with a double lane roundabout at that intersection, we start to get out pretty wide and Grant Creek sits right at kind of the edge of that roadway. And so at that point, that roundabout starts to infringe a little bit into the creek a little bit. So there were significant costs associated with, putting in retaining walls and things like that. Additionally, MDT agreed to use the Highway Safety Improvement Program funds to improve that intersection. So we wouldn't have to use build funds to make the improvement, which saved our project with build quite a bit of money. You're looking at the neighborhood of $600,000 to $700,000 savings there. So when we had visited with MDT, they were willing to do it, but one of the challenges they had, not only with that stream impact, there was also right-of-way impacts with the railroad being so close. So with their benefit cost analysis, they could only really afford that signalized intersection. And so for a lot of reasons, the signal was chosen at Broadway and Mary Jane rather than a roundabout, although it was evaluated and considered. Right-of-way constraints, stream impacts, and funding limitations were really the kind of the main drivers for choosing signal there.
Okay.
That was a long-winded answer.
No, that's good detail. Thank you. Okay, do we need a motion?
Yeah, I would move that the board approve and sign the agreement with MDT.
Second.
Any further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, Shane. And I'm assuming this next one is yours, Anna Conley. This is a request that the board approve the appointment of the special attorney in the matter of MCSO Report 2021-11275.
Yep, we just have a conflict, our office. I think the person involved is a relative of an employee in our office, so we need to send this out to a special deputy, and we've looked at Keithy Worthington at the city attorney's office.
Great.
Great. Well, I motion that the board approve the appointment of the special attorney in the matter of the MCSO report 2021-11275.
Great. I'll second that.
Any further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Hi,
Thank you.
Thank you.
good luck.
Any correspondence we need to deal with today?
We got that letter from Dave Morris, who's peddling to the climate conference in Glasgow.
Remembering that. Yeah.
This would not be Glasgow, Montana.
When I first thought it was pedaling to Glasgow, I'm like, yeah, how do you pedal to Scotland?
Yeah.
No,
They're doing a climate conference in Glasgow, Montana.
Because the big conference is in Glasgow, Scotland.
he's going to Scotland.
You can't pedal there.
Well, I think he's probably,
Is he starting?
I'm thinking we should ask, but yes.
Yeah, I would be fine with
Yeah,
drafting a
sure.
letter of support. We just need to get clear what actually he's doing and
Great. I think he sent an email to us.
Yeah,
You guys
found
get
it
it?
like a
Per-
generally
perhaps.
positive thing.
Okay, so we will be in touch with staff to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, could you be in touch with staff, Juanita? Would you like to run interference? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Sure wish we could go to Glasgow.
Yeah, I'd go to either one.
Go to
The
either.
one in Montana is lovely too, so. Okay, any other correspondence? Discussion items. We have our standing wildfire update this time of year. I don't know if Adrian Beck is on the line or Chris or anyone else. Is there anything in the world of wildfire that we need to talk about?
So Dave, I don't see Adrian on, and I do not have an update today.
Okay. I do have my Smoky Bear socks today, so be careful with fire out there. Only you.
Only you.
Only you. Okay, we're documenting that. Anything else that we need to discuss? Okay, seeing none. Everyone have a great day. Goodbye.